Hi, Vicky Hamilton here from Aesthetic V-Blog, and I'm here with Mike Paul Hughes. He is a musician, starting as a punk rocker, going to composer, and then rocket scientist. So I think that's like probably the farthest journey we've taken in more ways than one. Right? So how you doing today?
I didn't expect this, but it was offered to me. I'm a TV host for Hollywood in Space, which is a show that's going to examine Hollywood spaceships with real physics and real engineers.
Wow, so how does the Hollywood part fit in?
Well, we'll take a Hollywood ship like the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And we'll break it down, and we'll talk about the power supply and you know how it flies and what
if it's realistic.
Could it possibly be real? So some of the spaceships are going to be impossible and stay that way, but others could be very possible.
Okay, so you started out as a punk rocker. When was that? Like 80s? Or?
Yeah, in the 80s. I graduated high school. I sort of stumbled out of high school. I'd be a bassist. I wanted to be a punk star and get out there and rock. And so I was in a band for a few years, and the day the Challenger blew up, I decided to become an aerospace engineer.
And how was that transition? I mean,
I was 23. I was in a situation where I had to do it myself. But I saved up the money, and I got into Penn State aerospace engineering, and people thought I was crazy and that I wouldn't make it, but I did, and I graduated at the top of my class.
So is there anything that you learned from being a punk rock musician that has helped you in your life as a rocket scientist?
Yeah, it's funny that there are a few things. One is having been on stage 1,000 times, I was very comfortable in front of people. So when I got into engineering, I was not shy about speaking up. Some engineers are very reserved and very quiet, and their careers are sometimes limited because of their introversion. I'm not an introvert. So that's one thing. Another thing, I just told a colleague the other day, in one of those years, I was not in a band, and a guy I knew booked a gig on New Year's Eve without a band. He had no band, and he booked a New Year's Eve gig, and that's, of course, the biggest night of the year for bands. And then he was going to try to put a band together. And he did, and I was in that band. And I learned something from that. You book the gig, and then the people come.
You're still composing music as well, right?
Yeah, yes.
So what's your process there?
It's a collaborative one. I produce a project called Stone Soup Soldiers, and we compose for film and television. And we've done 5 indie films, and we have a couple of tracks that are coming up on the Outdoor Channel, Spear Gun Hunter, next month.
What inspires you?
Learning, chance to learn. People. I like meeting people. I love reading physics books.
How do people find you on the web?
I'm on Facebook, Mike Paul Hughes, and stonesoupsoldiers.com. That's my website.
And do you have any advice for people that, either want to get into music or be a rocket scientist?
For musicians, I would say, don't give up your love of music. Practice all you can. Always enjoy it, but don't ever expect to make a living at it. If you do, you're really lucky. But don't make that your primary goal in life. For engineers, or for people who want to get into engineering, my advice would be to believe in yourself and study incredibly hard.
So right now we're going to take a look at a clip that Mike has brought us. What's it about?
Well, this is the Orion spacecraft, which is the replacement for the space shuttle that NASA has awarded the prime contract to my company, Lockheed Martin. So for 7 years I worked on this vehicle as the guidance, navigation, and control systems lead, and also the entry systems phase lead. This is a video that shows the mission. It shows the launch, and the 2 orbits, and then re-entry. There's no crew on board. This is just a test flight, and our current date is December 4th, 2014.
Oh wow, so it's coming right around
Coming
the corner.
right up, yeah.
And how's that going to feel when it finally goes up and that you've worked on it?
Well, whenever I've launched several spacecraft and done encounter in space, and it's an enormous thrill to be involved in that. But you gotta actually give yourself time during the moment to enjoy the moment, because there's so much telemetry, there's so much activity. It can be over before you gave yourself a chance to enjoy it. But this one I'll be watching probably from the beach, so I think I'll have plenty of time to really absorb.
Yeah, I think that would give you the hugeness of what's going on, right? Seeing it actually go into space and instead of from a control room.
From Cape Canaveral, I've seen a launch from down there before the Cassini launch that went to Saturn. And it's far enough away that you see the flash and then you feel the rumble.
Oh wow.
And the rumble is very much like the rumble you feel when you're playing bass on the stage with big speakers behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time with me.
Well, thanks for coming down. I mean, this is pretty cool.
So this is Vicky Hamilton with Aesthetic V-Blog, and we're with Michael Paul Hughes, musician, rocket scientist, composer. I don't think there's anything this guy can't do. All right.